LeBron wants to play with his son. He wants to play with Bronny. LeBron is also in an option year. We haven't had the discussion about LeBron as free agent or LeBron retiring. We just seem to think that LeBron is going to play forever. All right. Do you think that it is reasonable to expect that LeBron will entertain the thought of free agency after the season?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he will. I think I don't think he'll go into anything without, some level of calculus. This is what LeBron James is a master of, right? So he will survey the landscape. They will have, I'm sure, all sorts of really good information about Bronny and, if and when Bronny declares for the draft, where he'll be selected and if it's a good fit for not only for Bronny, but then potentially for him as well. I do think that it is not lost on anyone that history could also be made, not just by LeBron and Bronny being on the same team, but by playing against each other. Maybe it's a little bit of a moving of the goalposts in terms of goals, but sharing an NBA court in itself is something. I think one thing that gets sort of lost sometimes when we talk about LeBron is he is in asset accumulation mode currently right now. LeBron wants to own an NBA team. This is what he wants to do. NBA teams are very expensive. And just because LeBron has $1 billion, that does not buy you an NBA team. And look, he will not own outright. Obviously, he will partner in some sort of A-Rod style fashion. But turning down $50 million to go sign the mid-level exception with another team would be the kind of thing LeBron James has not ever entertained in his NBA career.
I've talked to some figures in league circles who believe for the right person, you will lower the minimums. And by minimums, I mean you will lower the minimums on what it would take to buy or purchase an NBA team as far as cash on hand.
For expansion, for an expansion purchase?
I've heard it for both. I've heard someone inquire to me about an existing franchise and say, well, maybe Adam would lower the minimum of cash on hand. Because player X could be, or person X has that much equity into the league. And it wasn't talking about LeBron, but LeBron's almost a much bigger figure than anybody, except with the exception of maybe a couple of them.
Sure.
So I could see that being the case or something like that.